I'm really very Canadian, even though there's little bits of German in me, I guess, somewhere. Generational things, I suppose it is.
It's from the grandpa, man. It's from the grandpa.
All right. So we're here. We're here in Langford, BC, Vancouver Island. Me and Hugh. I'm here with Hugh and Tiger. Me and Hugh, we live on the mainland Vancouver, so we went out because Tiger goes to Royal Roads University here on the island. Thank you, Tiger, for hosting us. It's been a very nice weekend. I've very much enjoyed it here.
You're welcome. Do your thing, Matt Klein. Do your thing, Matt Klein. Do your thing.
Thank you for that exhortation there.
Thank you for letting us appear on your show, my dude. You are a goodly podcast host.
Thank you, bro. I'm working on it, trying to get there, trying to get comfortable with this kind of thing because I feel like interviews in some capacity are going to be a part of my life forever.
Forever, ever, ever.
Whatever that looks like, it'll change.
Matt Klein, when you do something for me, when you hit a rich flex for me, Matt Klein, when you do something for me.
I think you changed quickly into the wrong outfit, Tiger.
Oh heck. Let's keep it going. Heck, let's go back to the interview, all right?
Okay, so yeah, today's Saturday. It's been a busy weekend for sure, especially for me and Hugh for traveling and all that. Just getting to downtown Victoria can be tough sometimes. Like last night, we were hanging out with one of Tiger's friends from Belgium, and we were talking a bit about the World Cup last night because this guy, he's very passionate about the World Cup. We're probably going to be watching it. I'm going to be watching Canada, Germany as much as I can. Hugh, are you going to be watching the World Cup?
I will be following Canada as a casual observer because Canada has made it in to the World Cup for the first time in not 30 years, since 86, and I would like them to at least get out of group stage. Tiger?
I'm so excited, especially this group we have right here for Canada. Every team in this group is a killer. We got Morocco, we got Canada, we got Belgium, I got Croatia.
First time in what feels like forever
I wasn't born in '86
for a lot of soccer fans here for sure.
Yeah. And I didn't even become Canadian until like 2015, bro. So come on.
Tiger, can you recall like any of China's success? I'm trying to think. Have they been in the World Cup like consistently, or has it been inconsistent?
Only one time in 2002.
Okay.
Like when Korea hosted the World Cup. That's
okay.
That's the only time they made it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they lost to Brazil 3-0, and that's when they're so proud of it.
Oh yeah.
When they're playing Brazil, they lost 3-0, but they hit the goalpost 3 times that game. So that's something that everyone's very proud of. And
3-0 by Brazil is not the greatest feeling in the world.
better than 7-1.
That's true.
But you know, like the Chinese football has always been a joke. Like even in China, like the one thing that unites the country right now is talking trash about the national team together. That unites there's social differences, there's class differences in China, but when you talk about football, there's no differences. They're just trash.
Yeah, I definitely say there are some similarities in. I feel like almost every country they have like a sport that is just kind of like a joke. Maybe some things it's hard to really know. But Tiger, I just wanted to ask you a few questions about your experience. You've been a fan of the NBA for a while now.
What a segue.
It's one of your more comfortable sports, ones that you enjoy. You've been going to NBA games for many, many years now. What kind of led you to doing that? And
the first game I've been to was in 2003. It was a preseason game with Sacramento Kings versus the Houston Rockets. And ever since that game, I fell in love with the sports, especially my dad. I came from a different era when it comes to basketball. I started watching in 2003, like when LeBron was drafted. And I started watching Vince Carter, Steve Francis, Baron Davis, Andrei Kirilenko, Mehmet Okur, Carlos Boozer, like that's the team I watched. I watched Melo in his prime. So honestly, the basketball I watch is very different from the basketball you watch nowadays. And back then, it used to be a very manly sport that I appreciated very much. The skills, the hops, like the highlight back then is very different from what you see on TV today. It's like I used to watch like advertisement of like Allen Iverson showing him playing injured all the time. So to me, it represented like, it's more than just a game. It's manliness in sports, and one of the reasons I went to so many games, like when I lived in Toronto, is to watch the guys I grew up watching. I never went there to watch Steph Curry. I went there to watch Vince Carter. I went there to watch the Spurs, the Ginobili, the Parker, the Duncan. Like that era, like it stands for something for me. Like it's very special deep down in my heart. You know, like Steph Curry is very entertaining, very cool. Blake Griffin's great at dunking. Aaron Gordon is cool. And who we got right nowadays? We got
Ja Morant,
Doncic. I would love to watch both of them play in real life. I just never had a chance. Yeah. But you know, back then it's a different style.
It was different, absolutely.
It's like UFC in the NBA.
That's true, yeah.
At least from my perspective, because I don't follow basketball. At least it seemed to be a lot more physical back then.
Oh yeah.
So like you get beat up quite a bit. Like most of the stuff that would be considered like a technical nowadays was just like commonplace in like the NBA. I mean, when I think of the NBA, I think of like all those early 90s like highlights I've seen where like the Pistons are destroying other teams by just being physical, like
Definitely.
laying beer in them.
It's totally a different like era, and it's almost like there's that one that people appreciate. There's the time that you appreciated the most, Tiger, even into the 2010s when these guys were getting older, and now there's like the young guys like Giannis and Doncic and Morant and Tatum and all these guys.
And like what Hugh said, shout out to Pistons, man. If you want to watch real basketball, search up LeBron James against the Pistons. All right, that was like 05?
05, yeah.
05, 06?
Pistons were huge.
They just won the finals not too long ago.
Yeah.
And LeBron by himself in Cleveland with no help demolished them. Okay, here's the thing. People talk bad about LeBron. But go back to that clip. And that clip, he was like 25 at the time. That clip will show you greatness.
Yeah, he was probably even younger back then.
Yeah. He got drafted when he was 19, so that he was like...
Yeah, he was really young. And
they call him the chosen one for a reason.
That's true. Honestly, he's been through so much, and we can definitely forget about the first 7 years in Cleveland and all that he went through. Getting to the finals, getting swept by the Spurs. You know, it's things that just almost made him become who he is, especially at the prime of his career, and then just as the 2010s kind of transpired as well.
That's when he became the GM.
That's right. It's just the Le monikers just kept piling up after LeBronto. Hey.
I know, man. This guy is gonna be a team owner one day, just easily.
Absolutely. Hugh, you're more of a hockey, baseball guy. If you had to pick like sports, that's kind of where you've gravitated towards someone that's definitely can appreciate all sports, but hockey and baseball, which one kind of started at the beginning, and where did that kind of grow and culminate?
So before I go into this, I will say I do, in terms of sports, I do like a lot of sports. I do follow a lot of motorsports, but in terms of traditional team sports, it started off with hockey. Every Canadian kid growing up, they like playing hockey, or they'll follow a team like the Canucks, for example, like the local hometown team, or they'll follow like another Canadian team. So naturally, yeah, I liked hockey quite a bit, and I would just remember all the greats of that era, like Brodeur and trying to think of other ones. Brodeur, Trevor Linden, Mark Savard.
Yeah,
Naslund.
Yeah.
Recchi.
Chris Osgood.
Oh, so many good guys.
We would be naming like hours and hours of people.
Datsuk.
Literally. Yeah, other than that, in terms of baseball too, like I'm not as into it either, but like compared to hockey, but I do have an appreciation for it. I'm a Dodgers fan. Like the hat I'm wearing has a Dodgers 2020 World Series patch on it, so
Hell yeah.
naturally that's kind of my team. And I also have some teams I don't like, but I'm not going to go into it for reasons that I won't get into, not to mention I'm trying to be PG, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, dude. That's awesome, man. So I wanna talk a little bit about a little discussion. Just I want to get your guys' opinions on something. So I'm very much so a Blue Jays fan, and a lot of Canadians, especially like obviously in Toronto, in Vancouver, across the nation, Canadians are even down in Seattle. People are just crazy about the Blue Jays, and I feel like that's the case with a lot of Northern American cities as well. Just appreciating the Blue Jays. I had a lot of high hopes for them this year. And one thing I kind of want to get your guys' opinion on, Hugh, we'll start with you, is so quickly, just a little bit of context. So I kind of gave myself a challenge to the Blue Jays this year. I wanted to see if they were going to play better than last season, which you can say it was technically 2 years ago, but it was 2021. So the 2021 Blue Jays, they underperformed. Like everybody was hitting like record numbers, career years for a lot of the players offensively, but they didn't make the playoffs and they looked really ridiculous. So this year, I was thinking to myself, okay, if they make the playoffs and they do well, they go far, I'm gonna take back my idea that they can only win if they're focused, if they're efficient, if they're being disciplined, because they are probably the one team in baseball that just has fun more than any other team, and it's noticeable and it's good in the dugout. But I want to ask you guys, what do you think about this? Because again, the Blue Jays, they did not do very well this year. They hardly even made the playoffs. They got swept 2-0 in literally a Friday and a Saturday. It was hardly the playoffs. What do you guys think maybe the difference between having fun and playing efficiently? Because I think that the difference between having fun and playing to win is the difference between emotion and belief. So what do you think about that, Hugh?
Well, you can have fun and still be able to properly focus in, but I feel like if you put too much emotion in it, then your judgment gets clouded with various things. I mean, I think if I had to think of an example where they lost the train of thought or their judgment was clouded, I don't know, maybe that like run-in, if you get what I mean, where it literally it went to hell in a handbasket, and yeah, it's getting swept 2-0 is not the greatest feeling in the world, but I wouldn't know personally, but
not even like baseball, but like if you are on a team, what do you think is more important? Like having fun with your buddies, or being like, hey, you need to focus, you need to snap out of it, you need to pay attention, you need to be as disciplined as crap. You need to be like having that harder relationship rather than that fun relationship.
Honestly, for that, you can have fun, but if you're screwing around and losing games, then obviously there needs to be accountability taken for the players. They have to be accountable for their actions and how they're motivated. Because if you put players out who don't care about their performance and they're just like, we're just gonna do this and that, it's no biggie. It's just like casual fun. It's like, we're paying money for product that isn't actively performing to the best of their abilities. You got any opinions on this, Tiger?
Have fun when the job is done. Like Kobe said, the job's not done. The only reason we play sports is to compete, to win. That's what motivates all of us. And if that goes out of the line, then what's the point of all this? What the frick are we doing, right? What the heck are we doing if it's not for winning? So, like, rest in peace, the great Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant said, like, the job's not done. There's plenty of times to have fun after the job is done.
Yeah.